to If I Can, You Can. Today we're going to be making easy guacamole and pita chips made in a food dehydrator. So let's get started. So everybody has a different guacamole recipe, but I like to keep mine simple. So my ingredients are avocado, lime juice, salsa, salt and pepper, and cayenne pepper. So we're going to start by cutting open our avocados. You want to make sure they're nice and ripe. So once you have that open, you're just going to spoon it into your bowl. So once all your avocados are in the bowl, you're going to want to add your salsa. You can use homemade, store-bought, spicy, mild, doesn't matter. Then your lime juice, some cayenne pepper, salt, and pepper. Now you can for sure throw this in a blender or food processor, but I just like to hand do it with a fork. Just something about chunky guacamole that tastes really good. So you want to mash that all up. There you go. So when that's all mashed up, that is done and ready to go. So we're going to set that aside and start on our pita chips. For our pita chips, all you need is a stack of pitas, some olive oil, and some kind of seasoning. I'm just using seasoning salt. So we're going to take our pitas and one at a time, put them on a cutting board, and with a knife or a pizza cutter, just cut them into chip-sized pieces. Now these are just so much healthier and taste so much better than regular chips. And they're so easy to make. So you can for sure just leave them like this, or if you want them to be a little skinnier, just open up the pita and break them apart and throw them in a bowl. So when all of your pitas are cut up and broken up into chip sizes, we're going to add our oil. Now don't worry if some of them are breaking or not perfect triangles, not that big a deal. So we're going to add our oil, and we're going to not dump it right on, we're going to try and dump it around because the pita chips will soak up the oil and we want it to be more evenly distributed. Kind of just pour it onto the bowl like that. And then adding whatever seasoning you're using. And we're just going to toss with our hands. If you wanted to skip using the oil, you totally could do that too and just add seasoning. Oil just gives it a little bit more flavor. So when you're all done mixing your chips, we're going to grab food dehydrator rack and lay them on. The reason I like using the food dehydrator for these is because I find that it makes a more even crispiness. In the oven, you have to watch them so carefully so they don't burn, and then some of the edges are really dark, and then some of the chips aren't that crispy. So I just find that this gives it a more even crispiness. Just gonna lay them all out. Now these aren't gonna take very long, should be less than an hour at about 135 Fahrenheit, or the fruit setting on your dehydrator. So once you have all your chips laid out, going to stack the trays, and then we're going to turn on the food dehydrator. Just checking how often. It should be less than an hour though. It's been about an hour now, and our chips are all done. So as you can see, they're nice and crispy now. So we can just put them into a serving plate with our guacamole. And that's how easy it is to make pita chips and guacamole. So remember, if I can, you can, and enjoy.